Here we are. We're the last ones here. Almost.
The last ones, we're going to close the place.
We're going to close it down. We're going to shut it down. You know, it's showtime here. All right, I'm here with Craig Santy.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what brought you out here. We'll dive into your career, but first and foremost, how's your night going, man?
Yeah, very good, very good. My good friend and former colleague, Lillian, is a board member at TCVN. So she said, hey, they're doing this thing and it sounds like fun and I'm going to be a host. And I said, all right, well, count me in. You know,
Right.
I'm not quite old enough to remember the dating game, but old enough to have seen reruns. So I was
Right.
like, this sounds fun. Let's do it.
Awesome. Tell me a little about TCVN, right? How you know about it, kind of what they do. I know it's not your core competency, but yeah, just
Yeah, I could just tell you as a user, like I've been to a few of their events and they're always really good. The thing I really like about them is that they are founder focused.
Mm-hmm.
So they understand the challenges and the requirements and needs that founders have,
Yeah.
which is really important because a lot of times when you go to mixers or tech events, it's so broad that there might be 500 people that you end up talking to 2 people that are of interest and maybe, so this is so much better because they really try to curate a group of people that are also talking about the same things that you are, but they're also bringing in the experts that are right there where you're trying to get to,
Right.
and they're like, hey, let's bridge that, and I think that's the for me, from what I've seen so far at their events, is that they're all about that bridge for the founder to get them funded.
right. Not just bringing in random amalgamation of people together for headcount, but actionable conversations. Okay.
Right.
So founder, I love that. I love talking to people who blaze their own path, solve their own problems, and really just like create something. So
Yeah.
tell me about the company you're at now, and
Yes.
then we can dive into your journey, how you got here, that entrepreneurial spirit that you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's start here with the company you were in the dating competition for the investors. You almost got it.
I was in there. So yeah, basically I have a company and we're called Opula and we are a content commerce company. And what we do is we use luxury entertainment to drive luxury purchase. So all of the content that you watch, all the series, everything, it's all shoppable.
Right. Okay. Where can people interface with this currently? Are you in the development stage? Where are you at right now in shipping this to the customer?
Yes, we're in the development stage right now.
Okay.
So we're building the MVP, we're creating the content. So how it works basically is like we distribute through airport lounges. So if you go to an airport lounge, there'll be large screen televisions, you'll see the content, you're like, oh, there's Brad Pitt from F1 or, whatever. And then that content will lead you on a journey that takes place from the big screen to the small screen. And the small screen is linked to the big screen through a carousel. So if you're watching, let's say, for example, behind the scenes on the making of the new F1 movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that watch that Brad Pitt is wearing is for sale and you could get it today.
Wow.
Delivered right to you in the lounge. So it's that level of immediacy and excitement. And then in the app, you're able to go deeper into the story, so you can find about the story of IWC and motorsports,
Mm-hmm.
right? And all of those, the craftsmanship, all of the key sort of like fundamental ideas that are, relative to the brand, but also to the thing that they're involved with, for example, like Formula One. And so, what we try to do is we try to use stories to bring people in, right? To get them excited about something and then facilitate the purchase. What we found was basically that there's billions of dollars being lost a year in sales because of 2 things. They could not make a purchase and they would not leave the lounge. So we solved those 2 problems, opening up for our retail partners and our brand partners to tap into billions in revenue that they're not getting right now. That's just sitting there waiting for them.
So I'm imagining you're sitting in the lounge. Is this almost like shoppable entertainment? Am I looking at a 2-dimensional screen where I'm like watching a movie or I'm watching a show? You talk luxury entertainment for luxury sales, right? So luxury experiences. Are we like, is it a live showroom? Is it like a retail floor with moving screens? Like what does that physical interface look like? Can I click on it? Like how do I click on it for that screen to pop up to purchase something? If I'm watching it, I'm like, wow, that's an awesome bag. what's the technology behind making that accessible?
So the first thing, so you'll see the large screen TVs in the lounge, and then the first thing you'll realize is that they're muted. So we have brand ambassadors in the lounge that then assist people to basically download the app, because with the app comes the audio, right? But also you get then to choose your language choice. So do I want to enjoy this program in English or in Arabic or in Chinese? And so now you're sitting there and you're watching it, but then your phone, which was delivering the audio, now becomes a carousel. And everything that you're seeing on the big screen is in the palm of your hand. So it's Keira Knightley, and she's Weekend in Paris. Everything that she's wearing is right there. Every hotel that she stays at is right there. So you're able to really interact. And the key feature here is that, unlike social media or other digital marketing platforms, you don't have to leave Opula. Everything stays in Opula. So the purchase takes place in the platform. There's no links, there's no QR codes. So if there's that spontaneous desire to make a purchase, you don't lose that. They're able to make the purchase. And then a couple of things that make it a little bit more fun are that you save on the duty free, right? So you get a little bit of a discount on it, and then you get immediate fulfillment. Even Amazon can't do that.
You're describing it, it made complete sense. I'm almost walking through this lounge like it's an art museum or like it's a guided tour. Like I've got something in my ear, there's things on the screen. It's not just like a store, but it's an experience. Like I'm imagining, you're on a layover and you've got a few hours to burn and you're going to walk around anyways. And now all of a sudden you have this interface where it's like you don't have to scan a QR code because it's automatically the whole catalog on your phone. So you bypass that part.
And there's the content is on a loop. So it's like a 60-minute or 90-minute or 180-minute content loop, but you don't have to watch all of the content if you don't want to. The app allows you to sort of like jump immediately into something if there's something that you're fascinated with. So you can just go down that rabbit hole right in your phone and keep that. But what a lot of people that we're talking to like to do is bookmark that stuff for later so that they can enjoy it on the plane, and then they can stay with the content. Because the thing about the content on the big screen is that you don't know what you're going to see next. It's all short format stuff. So it's talking about destinations. It's talking about financial wealth management. All these different subjects are sort of coming at you with short format, so that there's going to be something in there for everybody. And then you're able to take that with you. You're able to take a deeper dive. And one of the things that I should mention, in addition to the ability for people in the lounge to make a purchase, another huge problem that faces travelers when they want to shop duty-free is that there are dozens and dozens of travel retail operators that run the stores, but you don't know which one has what terminal. So you would need to literally download dozens of apps if you wanted to do a pre-order, for example, or if you wanted to shop via the app. And the simple reality is the customers just don't know who these retailers are. So what we do is we aggregate all of that into Opula. So we take care of all that for you. All you have to do is say, I saw these Chanel sunglasses, I want them. We organize everything on the back end to figure out who's the retailer for that and to then get it to you. So something like that doesn't exist right now. And again, that's costing them billions of dollars in sales.
Right. Man, what sparked that concept?
My background is I've been a TV and film producer for decades, worked with major brands and studios and talent. And the thing that always frustrated me was that we really honestly couldn't move the sales needle for the brands. We could do the awareness, we could do the halo, right? But moving a sales needle in a particular quarter, for example, never happened. And one of the big reasons for that was because we hardly ever knew when the thing was going to come out. With a series, you might have an idea of the quarter, but films, a lot of times we don't even know what year it's going to come out.
So you're talking product placement within films.
Right, within TV shows.
Getting awareness up, but not moving the sales needle.
Right.
It's in there, but it doesn't necessarily mean like James Bond has a Heineken. That's probably one thing. But if it's something more discreet, they don't know what item number, they don't know what SKU that is. There's no link for them to buy it. Okay.
Exactly. And so what I was waiting for my entire career was I was waiting for the point where technology would catch up so that we could do something interactive. And essentially now everyone has a small computer, in their hands, which is a point of sale. So that's when I realized, okay, now we're ready. We can start doing shoppable entertainment. It doesn't have to be like it's built into the television. That's not necessary. Like you can have the content there and you can have the purchase here, right? Because the important thing is that's not going to follow you. This will. So as long as this thing is always with you, all the products, all the stories are always with you. And so that was that nexus of the storytelling and the technology allowing the sale, so that we have literally hundreds of retailers in the database that we can access in a moment's notice, so that we're always customer first. Whatever you want, boom, we take care of it. You get it.
Okay. Tell me about the film background, because what first got you into that? Take me back the early days of your career before you knew you'd be sitting here today as a founder, right?
Yeah.
What got you into that door that sparked that idea for this business?
Yeah. Wow. Whew. My life is quite insane. I've had many starts and stops, many careers, I've been multi-hyphenated for sure. Mm-hmm. I started as an opera singer.
No way.
So that's how I started.
Come on, hit me with something. We got great acoustics in here right now. Come on, Craig.
I think I would blow the microphone if I actually did something.
All right. Maybe another time.
So I did that.
Let me turn the gain down.
Turn the gain down.
You got a good voice. Very good performance. You're the best. I don't have to tell you to move close to the mic because I'm looking at the waveform. It's picking it up.
Okay, great.
You know how to project.
So I started in opera, and with opera, I was doing a lot of traveling. I traveled all over Asia. I traveled all over the United States. I traveled all over Europe.
Okay, so you weren't just an opera singer. You were a great opera singer.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to travel to do opera because that's sort of how it works.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, I was hoping when I got into it that I was going to be like the resident baritone, that I was going to live in a little Italian village and, sing in the little opera house, and that would be my life. That's kind of what I wanted. But it doesn't really exist like that anymore. Today, it's all about travel, different casts. The people want to see people at Aspen, and they want to see them in New York, and then they want to see the same, cast in London. So a lot of travel. But while I was traveling, I started writing. And first I was doing travel writing, and then I got published, and I became a syndicated writer for the Times Mirror syndicate. And then, believe it or not, local right here, I came back to get a degree and went to UC Irvine.
No way.
Yeah. So I got a bachelor's degree in UC Irvine, all the time thinking that I was going to go back to opera, and just kind of like waiting, because this is my early 20s. And baritones in opera sort of mature sort of in their like mid to late 20s. Mm-hmm. So I had a few years I needed to kind of kill. And so I thought, I have a music degree. I'd rather, fill my head with some knowledge. So let me go get an academic degree. So I did that. And one of my professors was an LA Times journalist and syndicated columnist, Bob Shear. And he was involved in a lot of big stories, Pentagon Papers, a lot of big stories from back in the day. And we took the class that he was teaching was on Vietnam, and I was so into it. It was so fascinating, and the way that he told the stories and the things that you didn't know. And he approached me at the end of the class, and he said, "You're a good writer. You should pursue writing." And I mentioned to him that I had done some, stuff, but totally untrained. And so I followed that recommendation, and I went to Columbia for journalism, and I got my master's in journalism from Columbia. And then while I was there and I was still a student, I got the biggest scoop of my young career. It was 1993, and the World Trade Center had gotten bombed. And I was the only journalist to get inside. So
what?
My story, my photos were the only documentation of what the bomb site looked like for the first, I'd say, 36 hours.
That's like history.
So that was
I could look that up, probably.
You could look that up.
And that's
you?
You?
Look that up. My name is on the New York Times and I did interviews with Good Morning America and Nightline, and it was a big thing for a young journalist. And off that, I got hired right away by United Press International. So when I graduated, I went back to came here to Los Angeles and was working entertainment. Covered all the biggies, covered the Menendez trial, the OJ trial, the Rodney King trial, the LA riots. It was a crazy time to be a journalist. And my second big scoop came, which was the Michael Jackson story. I broke a big part of the Michael Jackson story, huge exclusive, and that got me sort of national recognition.
Yeah,
and
as if the other trials weren't big enough. Those weren't big enough. Everybody had the scoop on OJ, but I got the one on MJ.
There you go. And so I got pulled up to the majors. I got hired by CBS in New York to come and do national news. I was part of a select team of VJs or video journalists that were sent out into the field, and in we had our own series, and then if something was newsworthy enough, it got pulled into 48 hours. So my first assignment was to go boots on the ground and live with a skinhead militia group in Utah.
Whoa.
Who were all federal fugitives. And so I spent 6 months documenting that story, almost died many times, had a gun to my head many times. And
how did that work out? They're fugitives and they get to have the news around? Who organized that?
Well,
who said yes?
People.
Who said yes? Come on in. We won't let you arrest us at the end of it.
There were times when we were being pursued by law enforcement. There were times when we were being helicopters were literally over the thing, and they didn't care that I was in there. They were like, you knew what you were doing when you signed up, so you're taking your own chances.
They're like, if you get arrested, it's not on us.
Exactly, or shot. So that
we're canceling your life insurance policy now until you finish this assignment. So get some good content.
Exactly. It's exactly what it was. It was literally like New York was like, you're doing great, kid.
Of course. Okay, so that's just 6 months out of that, right? Tell me what else. Keep it coming, man.
And then I met a lot of really good people there, all young, all super hungry, and really great storytellers. And so I said, let's set up our own company and let's start selling shows, So that was the next thing, was we set up a documentary production company. Some people from New York, some people from LA, and we started selling documentaries. And then this crazy thing happened, late 90s, early 2000s, this thing called reality TV.
Oh, shit.
And we were the only ones that knew how to do it, because we were the only ones that were doing non-scripted, So we jumped into that. Did a lot of, reality TV shows, starting with the really oldies, FBI Files and New Detectives, and getting more into, I produced Hogan Knows Best for VH1.
Wow.
We produced all sorts of shows. And then once reality got big, that's when the brands started coming to the table, because they were like, these are real shows with real audiences, and we can get placement cheaper than the scripted shows. So brands started coming in, and I was a showrunner, so it became my responsibility in the field to execute these integrations, which for the most part were very rushed and not thought through well. I won't say the names of the companies, but we had very large mobile, telecommunications companies that were doing multi-million-dollar placement deals, and their product would come in a box with no instructions.
You're just
here, and
figure it out.
Yeah,
here's the check. Here's the thing.
And so we would, some producers cared and they would try. That was me. I found it a challenge. Others, didn't care at all, and the integrations were very poorly done.
So it's it didn't necessarily matter once they had the product. It was there was no follow up. It was like shipping a consulting product and never following up on them if they do it or not.
Exactly. But because it was cheaper than scripted, and because they could at least go back to their company and say, hey, we are integrated into this show, and it's got, it averages 4 or 5 million views,
Right.
they would continue to do it. But I got more and more and more into that side of it, and I started to move away from the production and more into the brand side. And I started working more with brands. I spent time in China. I worked directly with brands and manufacturers. I started working with celebrities. I started helping celebrities create their own brands. I started helping pair celebrities with brands, because you have to have a story, and then you have to have a person to tell the story, right? But the one thing, again, like I was saying in the very beginning, the one thing that was always missing was that you have two people at the table for the company. You have the marketing guy and you have the sales guy, right? The sales guy looks at us and he says, I'm never gonna give you $1 because you can't guarantee me a sale. The marketing guys will give you their budgets, but their budgets are limited. The sales guys have almost unlimited money as long as they hit their KPIs. So that's what got me thinking about this idea, is that we're gonna build custom created branded entertainment with these brands to hit their KPIs. And we're gonna control the release dates. So we know when it detonates so that we can absolutely have complete follow through. We can work with the brand to be the wind beneath their wings on all of the 360 things that they're doing across, all their touch points, right? If you're doing a pop-up, we'll show up and cover it, all of those different things to make it so that we can go to those sales guys and say, we're definitely going to hit those KPIs for you this quarter.
That is just like, I'm blown away at, I'm blown away at the progression of this, starting from an opera singer.
Yeah.
When you think about like, oh, here's this, sales and marketing guy who wants to sell a bunch of product, and you trace that back to the original dream of being like, I just wanted to be the best singer, best, not just any singer, an opera singer. That's not easy to sing. I could hardly tell you anything about that. That whole progression, that's an amazing, talk about telling us. This man knows how to tell a story over here, Craig. They're going to have to kick us out. We told you we're shutting it down.
Yep.
That's just like, what is the like biggest takeaway for the struggling people like, who are 20 something years old right now, who think, oh, my career's over, or, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do next. Like, what you had those probably high moments and low moments the whole way through. What can you say to those people about what you've been through and what they have to look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the first thing is that, and I thought this too when I was young, is that once you've made it, you've made it, But that's not true. It's like you're always making it, And so don't look at it like once you pass a certain line, like whatever, like you're always going to be out there every day. Put yourself out there like you're going to, do something amazing today, meet somebody amazing, have an amazing conversation, help somebody do something, right? Like that's what you want to be doing every single day, Yeah, take some downtime for yourself. It's okay to be lazy. It's okay to get inside yourself and sort of like have ideas and create things, and germinate them, and then, to get back out there. But I would say do a lot of things. Go and do things that interest you, because the things that interest you interest those other people, and those people are going to be interested in you. And things happen because of people. People see you, people like you, people join you, Nothing that I've ever done was by myself. It's always been with other people. So just get out there, do stuff. Don't put so much pressure on yourself, Like enjoy the moment. And I guarantee you, from the moment, if you're enjoying yourself, if you're doing things that you like, something will come from it.
Man, talk about way to end the day today here. Craig, that was a pleasure. I could probably sit for hours and listen. You probably didn't even name a single celebrity that you develop brands for. I know the people are dying to know, though. Give me one. Give me a big name. We already dropped OJ, MJ.
Oh, well,
give me one name if you can, just for the fans at home who are wondering, Craig.
Yeah, well, we've done things with, Johnny Depp and with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. We did Looper. We did Iron Man. One of my dear clients is Jane Seymour, the actress, former Bond girl. Stephen Baldwin of the Baldwin brothers. just all kinds of people from, different types of celebrities and stuff. I'm currently working on something that's really exciting right now with Laurel DeWitt, who's a designer.
Okay.
She does all the metal work for like Beyonce and Rihanna and all the music artists. We're looking at, telling her story and bringing her vision, to life on the big screen. So just a lot of that. And I do the same thing. I throw myself out there, engage with people that I think are interesting, and then stuff happens.
That's what I love, because it's not it's what you're building that I see you're so passionate about. It's like the accolades, they happened. It's just a little side note, I love how passionate you are about what you're doing. I think that's something that founders can look at that and say, hey, maybe I'm a young person who doesn't know what I want to do someday, but like, you can do all these things, build that expertise, always do the best job possible. I'm honored to sit here and talk to you about your
pleasure
career.
to talk to you, Shota.
You're just documenting pieces of history, and now we're going to bring it to the big screen all over the world.
That's right. Well, thank you.
I'm excited. Tell us one more time the company, where people can find you, and just anything that you'd want to share about the what you're founding today.
Just opulaworld.com.
How do we spell that?
Opula, Opula.
Okay.
Opula, like opulence.
Exactly.
So opulaworld.com. And we're going to be launching in Q1 2026.
Okay.
And there'll be a lot of news about it because the brands are going to be pushing it pretty hard. So just keep listening for Opula.
Okay, hey, he got the 2 scoops, but now everybody got the scoop now on Opula. Okay, you heard it here first, actually.
All right,
All right, thank you so much, Craig.
All right.
Let's go.